Okay. Today, I really want to discuss about purification lifestyle or having a purification mind. So, drastically speaking, I do see that people in the world today tend to follow what the world news media tells them or what things they see on the outside, right? Or they tend to be enraged or like be so close to things that it's not very even close to them in their inner environment. And to be drastically speaking, the truth is like people show what's going on in the world, but there's stuff that's happening in the inner circle that they're even not knowing what's going on because they're distracted. And this is how the internet plays, right? Many people tend to be very trapped in the system and be programmed and also like be in these places that puts them astray actually. And what I really want to discuss is the purification mindset is that the human behavior, people tend to follow for greed, pride, lust, and self-gratification of in judgmental or self-judgment, ignorance, and that's part of human nature, right? Because like I said, like each person thinks different because each has their own thoughts differently. They think differently. We do not all think the same. And also what I'm trying to say from there is that your mind is a very powerful tool, and having a purification mind, what I'm trying to say, purification mind is having this clear thoughts, having these clear thoughts of positivity, not running things in your head so much in that category all and on and on and on and on, because it would affect your health. So you have to think that your mind also is part that programs your whole body system. So I see so many people get engaged in so many negativity activities, and I do want to like share this point of view because I think people should be self-aware and tend to be in a positive point of view. And I know it's really hard because life in general is not always positive. We're going to have these setbacks, we're going to have these struggles and so on. But really want to discuss is that mostly people tend to be stuck in this type of category, and the next day thinking about the same category, and the third day repeating the same category that's not beneficial, healthy for their self-esteem, and it keeps them in this cycle of their mind. And you have to think that your mind is also like the hamster of the wheel, so you have to program your brain to be in this cycle, but it has to be in the positive mindset. You don't want to be in the negative area, right? Because like I said, whatever you receive in the universe or whatever you put out there, it comes back to you. And also whatever you speak in your mouth, or the mouth is whatever you put your words out there, it's a powerful weapon and it will receive back to you. And karma is a real thing, a part of the universe, that what goes around comes back around. That's the part of cycle of our life that we live in this human nature of this world that we live in, right? So what's going on about having a purification mind is that your mind needs to be pure. People tend to have this problem with anger, with greed, and also, the pain of suffering and temptation, right? So I'm going to share a story, how it affects a person from one little category. It's okay to express and have the freedom of speech. Everyone should have a freedom of speech to speak their own inner thoughts, and that makes it more powerful. But at the same time, do not get indoctrinated and be stuck in one category forever, that it would leave you astray and it puts you in a negative environment. That's anything that involves with negativity, you have to stay away from that, because the mind is a very powerful tool that whatever you attract is a magnet. Like, how the magnet attracts stuff? That's how your brain attracts things, right? So I'm going to give an example. There was this person, a client that me and my friend saw an experience. She did the exact opposite that I did. So I don't know, I was more in the peaceful, chill environment. I just didn't want to engage other person's point of view or like intervene in something that doesn't really matter for me, because at the same time, I want my mind to be positive. I want to be relaxed and not be involved with something that would affect me in the long run or could affect me. So what happened was, there was this person talking about being unhappy for a political point of view, right? And when that involved with it, it started to affect his stuff around him with his family. And then by the family, it involved with the relationships. And now with relationships, it affects with finances. So, and that happened somewhere up north in Dallas long ago, years ago, with this client. But the thing is that when you put that mindset, arguing or being have that rage, rage is anger. You have to be careful with anger, because anger inside of you, it's okay to have that fiery spirit in you or to speak the truth, whatever you feel your point of view leads to. But that every human has a different adaptation of thinking. So what I'm trying to say, that carrying that anger every single day for one point of view that you have and trying to get others to understand you, it's a very difficult process, because some would understand you and some won't, because like I said, human behavior, every individual don't think the same. We have this different chemical imbalance type of stuff, chemical stuff in our brain. We don't think the same. And if we all do think the same, we pretty much be like robots or something, right? So, talking about the situation, he got affected by that. Then it started affecting the relationship. Didn't want to be in part of the situation of that rage, the negativity, because the other person will get tired of it. The person will be feeling drained, as far as I've seen. And then also it started to affect his finances. Then it started to affect his own daughters and stuff that he's going through, and the family. And the stuff that this happens is like, if you keep in that mind programmed into that analytical thinking, it would affect you. So it's best to having the purification. So purification is like, let's say you have this category thing. You're going to this type of analytical discussion with somebody. Next, keep the mind clear. Keep your mind pure. Go on hiking, meditation walk, or just a meditation walk or meditation prayer. Reason being, because you want your mind to be in the present moment, and you don't want anything from the past to affect you, or you don't want anything that's causing you those things to interfere your thoughts, right? Because you don't want to be sleeping at night and still thinking the same thing, because your mind needs that hospitality of relaxation. But people tend to be focused on the wrong categories of things, and this is why the human behavior tends to follow these traps, And it's best to be in a purification of, working out, having some exercises, put your mind somewhere else. It's very healthy to put your mind somewhere else. Go rock climbing or things that puts your mind not into that same category, and not to be trapped in that system, to be programmed that way. Many people will do because they want some gratification of their own greed, right? You want to have a little pride, you want to have that attention towards you. Many people tend to follow that traps too. That trap of feeling that release of having that pride, right? Mostly people tend to follow that word narcissism right now. And the majority of the world, to be real with you, has adapted to that category of narcissism because of these electronic devices, social media, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, you name them all, right? And people engage on that to get their own gratification, to hear their own voice, and to be spoke, to feel valued of the moment. But drastically speaking, when people tend to go there, the next day they feel like I think I didn't do enough. I think I should do more. Or there's something that you still inside of you, you're asking, I still feel empty, and people will feel empty because they're going to these places that makes them feel unsatisfied, right? And this is the problem of today, of the media, of the internet, and the world has become a great inspiration to have their voice to be heard. And also it had like to see the truth behind things that we don't see, but also the internet has done a lot of great damage about people not being in a purification mind, and they tend to follow these traps, and this is why people are unhappy, they're suffering, and they're miserable. And I'm just saying the truth here, and this is what's going on in the world right now. So I just advise the person, if you want to have a purification mind, I advise you to stay away so much of what the world is giving you in there, and also focus on yourself, be in nature, take your journey somewhere, go kayaking. Do not let the negativity affect you, because everything is powerful. And like I said, I discussed about these books on my other videos about like Napoleon Hill on Outwitting the Devil, and also the other book, Joe Dispenza, about the mind, because this stuff is real. People tend to be trapped and tend to be listened to one category, but not knowing what exactly is going on, And I know for the fact of what I'm going to say is not going to show as many, because I'm speaking by the truth. And when you speak by the truth, nobody wants to hear that. It hurts. Like, I'm blunt, and I will tell you how it is to be blunt about certain things. So it's best to be in that lifestyle of purification. So put your mind somewhere else. Do play chess, go on a bicycle, put your mind somewhere else and go back to that category that you need to go to. But if it's a category that it's affecting you, and it's affecting you, your whole lifestyle, stay away from that, because your mind, your health is important. Your health comes first than anything else. And I see the world tends to step away from their own health, and then tends to be distracted for other categories. So this is for me to say that I hope this resonates anybody out there and takes this as it is. And I hope they understand what the purification means. Not to be tempted, not to stay in greed, anything that's negative. Because I know even the world is tempted today. People tend to be tempted on stuff of delusion that they see that it looks like really real, but at the end of the day, when they notice that stuff is not real, they end up really unhappy, or they be unsatisfied, because there's a mind that the stuff that you see, it's a delusion. They don't see the reality of it. Nothing is authentic. You have to be very wise on the stuff that you see out there. So I hope anybody could take this, and I hope it resonates.